I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. Today's album review we're very excited for. It's They Might Be Giants, their new album, Join Us. This is the first album. They've had like 15 albums, including their kids stuff.
Yeah.
But
this is their first real one since 07.
Yeah, since The Spine. And They Might Be Giants is The Else. Yes, right, which had a song on it called Spine or something like that. If I remember right. I'm sorry, I'm just completely nerding out here, just thinking about some of their lyrics and getting into it. And that's what this band's all about. It's two guys. It started off as a duo in like the late 80s.
86, I think, was when the first album came out.
And it's a duo. It's John Linnell and John Flansburgh. I apologize. I'm brain farting all over the place. And these guys, they write really. It's very indie. Music, but it's very experimental too. They have such a unique sound, and at the time where you had 80s hair metal, and then, you know, a couple years after these guys started, you know, the grunge scene came on, They Might Be Giants is a band that is all about having fun and thinking about things in it from a very philosophical and deep manner, and providing quirky, crazy, experimental songwriting to go along with it. You know, John Linnell plays accordion on a lot of songs. They have guitars, a lot of, you know, drum machines and different sound effects that they're using, and crazy stage performances, and doing weird stuff for their own, you know, dispersing of their music using dial-a-song, and where you could call an answering machine and hear a They Might Be Giants song, and that kind of stuff made the experience of listening to They Might Be Giants such an endearing, personal listen. And to this day I feel like they've retained that. And you know, these guys had some monster awesome albums in the beginning, you know, with their self-titled and Lincoln, and then eventually they got a band. They went from being a duo to having a full band that, you know, now they have sax and bass and guitar, and it all works very well. But it's a different They Might Be Giants, and over the years to see that sound evolve to where now you really have a hybrid of the whole band sound, and you had the original duo sound. It's really kind of come to a combination point right now, and that's what I see in Join Us, and that's something I really like. Tom, what were your main points here? What were your main points?
I think this album as an album really harkens back to their older material, more so than anything I think they put out in the last decade.
Yeah,
honestly. Yep. I mean, just, you know, you've got the shorter track lengths with a lot of tracks on the album, just bam, 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 and they're good. Honestly, this is an album that I liked more and more with every listen, and some of these songs are so damn catchy. I mean, the Johns know how to write a melody, and they know exactly what kind of instruments and what production style to put with it. Now, to tell you the truth, the production was actually a little too even for me. I wish that it jumped around a little more, and it was kind of as oddballish as some of their early stuff, because I think the songwriting quality is so close to their early stuff that aspect didn't quite match it. But the lyrics are as good and it's just fun and funny as ever. You'll laugh out loud at some points. Some points will just really make you think in a deep way, and some points will make you think in just a WTF way. Yeah. But it all works. Now, there are a few weaker tracks, I'd say. At least on an album like this, the weaker tracks don't carry quite as much weight because there's a lot of other tracks, and also the tracks are like 2 minutes long.
And there's 18 of them here, so.
Exactly. But I found that most of them were pretty memorable. Right. This is just a fun album to listen to. I also think it would serve as a good introduction to the band. While I would probably always recommend their first few albums, this still, it's a good sampler.
Right. I agree, and really my biggest criticism you already nailed is just that the fact that there's a few weak tracks on here. Specifically, I didn't like the last track, but just whenever I have a few weak tracks and I feel like it promotes me to skip that kind of track displacement, definitely takes off some points for me. And overall, I think that They Might Be Giants puts out very solid work. But one thing that's different between their first 2-3 albums and the albums that have come out in the non-kids albums that have come out in the last decade, has really just been the integration of the lyrics and the songwriting. This band, the lyrics, you really can't fully appreciate this band if you're not digging in and just understanding lyrically what the band is doing. And in the beginning, you saw so much work being done between the actual songwriting and the lyrics and how the two would work together, where here I feel like it's more just, here's this palette, this foundation of the song itself, some unique kind of crazy sounds that they're making, and then the lyrics with it and the vocals with it. I feel like that it's kind of separate separated now. It's almost that segregation. I'd like to see it more integrated. I'd like to see everything work together. And that's what I think separates this from the Giants' older work, even if they're harkening back to a sound that's prior to them.
And the spots where they do that make me realize even more that I wish they would do that more.
Right.
I mean, tracks like Lady and the Tiger and Dog Walker that are just so goofy, almost Ween-esque. You get to those, and to me, those are a couple highlights, and it kind of makes me wish they would have gone that far out with the other tracks.
Yeah, it's almost a little too safe, too.
Yeah.
And that reservation, you know, it makes you wish that it could be more, but still what you have here is a remarkably solid Giants album, and a solid 2011 release altogether. To me, that's a 74. I'm loving this thing, but it's not blowing me away. It's not something that I'm definitely going to come back to it. I'm just not completely in love with it. I like it a lot. Solid.
I'm going 78.
Right. Cool. What did you guys think? What's your favorite They Might Be Giants album? Is this a band you've been with for, you know, your whole life that you've grown up with, or is this something that you're just finding now as the Giants release new material still, you know, decades after they came out of Brooklyn? So I would love to hear your guys' opinions. www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Facebook, Twitter, do it. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.